Every iterates over each item inside of an array, and then returns true if every single item in the array passes a given callback function. Otherwise, it returns false. So what do I mean by that? Let's look at an example here. Let's say I have an array of numbers, and then I want to create a variable that's going to be true if every single item inside of the array is an even number. So I'll create a variable called even, and we're going to use the every function to test this. So we're going to say nums.every, and then for each and every num, we're going to send it over to a callback function, and we're basically going to say num modulus 2 is equal to 0. And what does this mean? The modulus operator performs division right here, and then just returns the remainder. And so if you divide a number by 2 and the remainder is 0, then we know it's even. So what we're doing is we're iterating over each and every single one of these items inside of the array, and then we're testing whether or not it's evenly divisible by 2. If every single one of these returns true here on this function, then the entire function itself returns true and even will be true. If even one of these is odd, then even will end up being false. So let's go ahead and log even and see what happens over here on the right. Node every. See, every is true in this case. So let's replace these numbers with a different set of numbers. And if you notice, we have a 47 here, which we know is an odd number. Let's see what we get this time. This time we get false. So let's look at a little bit more of a complex example. What we're going to do is we're going to create a function that tests whether or not every single item inside of a string is either an empty character, a white space character, or a new line character. For example, if you have a user who's going to be filling out a text area and you want to make sure that they're actually typing characters into it before you submit it and send it to a server, what you can do is you can use the function we're about to create to test whether or not there's actual characters inside of it instead of just empty spaces and new line characters. So what we're going to do is we're create a function called empty string. It's going to take a string as a parameter, and we're going to send it over and say string.split. And when we say string.split with an empty string, it's going to break up every single character inside of that string and push it into an array. And so I'll give you a quick example of what that looks like. Let's say we have the string hello. Well, that's going to end up turning into this. So that's what string.split with an empty string does. And I did misspell that, but I know you understand what I'm saying. So with this array, we're going to call every on that. And so for every single character in that array, what we want to test is that every single character is either equal to a white space character or every single character, or I'm sorry, if every single character is equal to a white space character or equal to a new line character. So let's create two strings really quick. We'll call the first one string1. And we're just going to make this a bunch of empty space characters. And then we'll create a string2. And we'll just put hello world inside of here with a space in between. This one should be okay because there's characters inside of it. There is a space, but there's also other characters. This one is nothing but spaces. So we should see false for this one. Let's test the theory. So let's console.log. And we're going to use the empty string function that we just created to test string1 and string2. Now I save that and let's see what happens. You can see that the first one logs true and the second one logs false, just as expected. Alright guys, if you liked that, if it helped you in any way, please give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.